Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the first video podcast of the El Clasico Football Hub. I'm Anand, a proud Madridista.
And this is Aditya, Vizcaya Barca. So over the weekend, we saw two great matches, right? दोनों मैच अपने अपने पोजीशंस पे अपने अपने सिनेरियो में जैसे भी हुए, but they both got us some interesting insights to talk about. I think both the matches has set us up well for a good year ahead, right? For in Barca's case, from previous year to this year, सब कुछ वैसा ही रहा है, but we'll talk about that later. We are back to the heart attacks that Barca give, right? मेरे तो कभी हार्ट अटैक होने वाला है इस टीम की वजह से, but ठीक है. और रूम में लाश भी अकेले रात में मिलेगी, किसी को पता भी नहीं चलेगा क्यों हुआ क्या हुआ. But let's talk about that later. First of all, I want to start with Madrid. As a Cueller, I have some thoughts, some reservations there, but as a Madrista, मुझे सुनना है कि क्या टेक है तेरा. So let's start with Madrid.
A good match overall, a 3-0 victory over Oviedo. A match in which we were expected to win, but it still turned out to be a bit cagey. So overall, I'd say कि it still feels nice कि we can close a match with conviction. But थोड़ा सा I think 80th, 83rd minute में it was 1-0 and they almost
Mm-hmm.
scored and equalized. I think they hit the post once. So I think उस time पे the nerves were still there. But उसके बाद Vinicius आया, then Mbappe goal, then Vinicius goal. We managed to close the situation there. But I think overall quite a lot of positives for me. One big positive for me in this game was Franco starting. So this was a big talking point. Ki Franco, 18 years of age, second match, starts over Brahim, starts over Rodrygo, right? But I think in that sense, Xabi Alonso would not hesitate to make the bold calls. So I
Yeah,
think
I like that about him.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that about him. The fact that
Yeah.
last season, right, Ancelotti never thought about or never took that stand of benching Vinicius Junior, right?
Hmm.
Vinicius को
Hmm.
उसने bench नहीं किया या फिर
Hmm.
he did not talk about it. He had a circle of players, or Vinicius
Yep.
was one of the players. अगर
Right.
वो so he positioned कि match should turn out the way Vinicius plays, not
Hmm.
that I should create my team based on the players that I have, and Vinicius is just one of them, right?
Right.
वो मुझे नहीं
Right.
दिखा. So I
Right.
guess this is something, those bold bets are something that Xabi Alonso takes, and not only Franco
Hmm.
on the right side, the whole
Hmm.
pairing of the left wing and the right wing are different, right? Left wing
Right.
started by Rodrygo. वो
Right.
वो
Right.
आई डोंट नो उसने क्या सोचा क्या हुआ. द होल नैरेटिव ऑफ रोड्रिगो हैज चेंज नाउ. रोड्रिगो looks like he might stay. So again, something important we can
Hmm.
discuss.
Hmm. Yep, yep. So I totally agree with your point. I think Jabi is going to make the bold calls, not just benching players. I think he is also going to be focusing on the academy players. I think so. We keep hearing about this Thiago Pitach, right? So a young CDM that is coming up from the ranks. So overall, I think you mentioned Carlo Ancelotti, right? So Carlo, as you rightly said, had a circle of trust. So उसके अंडर मोर और लेस सेम प्लेइंग 11 रहता था. बट आई थिंक चैबी का जो प्लेयर रोटेशन वाला मॉडल है, इट्स अ लिटिल सिमिलर टू जिडान्स मॉडल, in the
Hmm.
sense that what Zidane used to do is for the first half of the season he used to try different combinations, try different player combinations, try different formations, and by the second half of the season when the crunch matches used to be there, the UCL knockouts, right? So उस टाइम पे उसका एक प्लेइंग 11, स्टार्टिंग 11 एक रेडी रहता था फॉर द बिग मैचेस. आई थिंक चैबी अलोंसो बाय द नेचर ऑफ हिज प्लेइंग स्टाइल स्टार्टिंग में वो थोड़ा एक्सपेरिमेंट करने वाला है. But I think by
Hmm.
the second half of the season, he's going to find that sweet spot in terms of the in terms of the starting 11.
What do you think? Will Rodrigo be in that sweet spot?
I don't think so. I think
Hmm.
in the model that Xabi Alonso plays, both of the matches we saw that dono wingers are playing wide to stretch the field, right? And in that case, उससे advantage क्या होता है? Both wingers are now exposed to just one defender, so they can really have a go at them, right? In that sense, मुझे वो Rodrigo वो प्रोफाइल फिट करता हो इतना दिखता नहीं है. Rodrigo is more of an inside forward rather than a pure winger which starts on the touchline. So in that sense, I think this system is tailor made for Vinicius Junior. बट विनिशियस का अगेन वही है कि अगर उसका दिन है, उसका मूड है, उसकी मेंटालिटी है, तो वो कुछ भी कर सकता है। बट अगर उसका नहीं है तो वो क्राउड के साथ भी बहस करेगा, वो रेफरी के साथ भी बहस करेगा। तो आई
विच
थिंक
ही
वो
डिड,
इन
राइट? उसने कुछ
एंटिक्स
किया था,
व्हिच ही डिड
कुछ हुआ था, राइट?
जस्ट I think so. What he did was he dived and then he
हम्म,
sort of disagreed with the referee कि मैं dive नहीं किया था, and
हम्म.
post that थोड़ा सा उसको येलो कार्ड भी मिल गया। उसके बाद crowd also got really into it. So I think it's not a matter of coaching. उसको coaching की जरूरत नहीं है। I think he just needs a manager or a coach that tells him कि हाँ भी which are the important things you need to focus on in a match. You don't need to think about the fans. You don't need to think about the referee के decisions. So I think someone just needs to sit him down and tell him that these are the things that really matter.
But he played well. But by he I mean Rodrygo played well. Uh, he was able to take one or two good shots, keep the keeper busy, keep the defense busy. So the role he played, right, in that left wing, I don't know why you want to replace or you want to give away Rodrygo, right? Because you need those different type of profiles.
Right.
जब तुम्हारा विनीशियस नहीं खेलेगा, लेट्स से विनीशियस इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग फॉर 3 मैचेस, you need to give him that pressure that hey, if you are not performing for 3 matches, we have someone of the quality of Rodrygo जो bench पे बैठा हुआ है, वो आएगा और he has that hunger to kind of replace you in case you don't get to your feet back, right? Or will
Hmm.
substitute in 55 minute, और again वो hunger वाला player आएगा and he will
Hmm.
give us that level of quality, right? So he's
Hmm.
like Bale. Why won't you want to have him as a bench player if he's happy, which I believe he is?
Hmm. So that you can say definitely, but I have a different take on this. So it's always luxury to have a player on the bench who can change the situation, who can give you something different, right? Of the quality of Rodrigo. Okay? So it's a
Exactly.
no doubt it's a luxury. But if you can get a good price like 100 million for that player, and then invest in a player which you actually need, which might be a deep
Hmm.
lying playmaker, right? So that can overall have a better effect on the team. What do
Makes
you think?
sense. Agree.
Hmm.
I'll buy this argument, but I'll buy this with the caveat that you need to challenge Vinicius Junior. उसको तुम ऐसे free hand नहीं दे
Right,
सकते, like
right.
last season, that in case you
Hmm.
don't perform, your place is still secure क्योंकि तुम एक time पर Ballon d'Or candidate थे. I don't think
Hmm.
that I will buy into that argument. You need someone to challenge him. अगर तुम्हें लगता
Right.
है कि ब्राहिम राइट के साथ लेफ्ट भी खेल सकता है, आई डोंट नो, बट यू वांट टू
Hmm.
एक्सपेरिमेंट, योर कॉल. यू वांट टू एक्सपेरिमेंट विद द फॉर्मेशन, योर कॉल. But you can't
Hmm.
give a player like Vinicius, who could switch off for a season, who could switch off for 4 or 5 matches, the luxury to to become complacent. I think.
And not to forget, Bellingham is going to come back after two months, right?
Correct.
So उस time पे
Correct.
who knows? Xabi might just change his formation to two attackers, and Vinicius might even have a stronger competition even more, right? So that can also
Correct.
be a case. And why are we only talking about Vinicius? We can also talk about Trent, who also got benched, right? So
Correct.
Carvajal played instead of Trent, who had who had a very average match on match day one. So I think Carvajal भी performed decent considering वो एक injury से आ रहा था, long term injury से आ रहा था. Of course he is 33,
Hmm.
34, so he's going to take some time recovering
Correct.
from that ACL injury as well. So but still Trent also I think has a good challenge on his hand. It's he's also not a guaranteed starter.
Correct.
So yeah, overall I think that also plays well.
I think I going to this Carvajal thing, right? This is a good
Hmm.
segue to break from the attack part and let's see at the midfield part. ठीक है?
Hmm.
I think Madrid का midfield is getting activated. What I mean by that is, you see the ball recoveries that happened, which led to I think one maybe missed chance, like a missed chance, and one goal
Hmm.
in fact, जो
Right, right,
एम्बापे ने मारा था, right? So I
right,
think
right.
Madrid का midfield is getting activated. Whether that is a function of a weak opponent who is not
Hmm.
able to retain the ball, or whether
Hmm.
that is actually a function of the fact that with Xabi you get that counter press, right?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
get that high intense high line which warrants you to press, राइट, कि तुम्हें कॉन्स्टेंटली
Hmm.
प्रेस करना है,
Hmm.
कॉन्स्टेंटली वो हंगर चाहिए बॉल का, राइट,
Hmm.
जो आई थिंक अगेन गोइंग अगेन बैक टू एंचेलोटी जो मिसिंग था. सो आई डोंट नो वेदर
Hmm.
दैट इज अ फंक्शन ऑफ दैट थिंग और वेदर क्या क्या प्ले पे है यहाँ पे. सो योर टेक
I
ऑन
think
दैट.
it's the I think it's the latter because Chabi जो system है Chabi का, it's built around recovering the ball as soon as you lose it. So the only difference is Ancelotti के अंदर there were certain players who were doing this like Valverde, Bellingham who were putting in the effort right to recover the ball and certain players who were not committed to that. I think Chabi ball के अंदर what is different is everyone is committed to this ideology कि if we lose the ball, we have to get back the ball very quickly, preferably in their half only, so that we can launch a counter attack quickly, right? So I think that
अग्री.
that is something that is a little advantageous in this new system.
और वो वाला प्रेडिक्शन भी काम आ रहा है और इट इज वर्किंग. आर्टिकुलर ऑलरेडी विद एन असिस्ट.
Yes. What did I say?
एम्बापे
What did I say?
एम्बापे ऑलरेडी आउट देयर विद पिचिची रेस. सो
Hmm.
ऑल द predictions coming in true.
Yeah, so Arda Gular had a great performance. I think I'm just going to read out a stat that I read. So Arda Gular had 8 key passes. For your reference, in Madrid's history for the past, I think 7 years, this has happened only thrice, twice with Cruz and once with Modric. So we're talking about a player who is incredibly talented, and I still remain firm on my prediction of Arda Gular being in those top assisters in this season.
तेरे को पता है कौन सा तुम्हारी टीम का प्लेयर है जो इस रिकॉर्ड को तोड़ेगा आर्डा गुलर के? डीन.
Wow.
डीन. वो तेरे क्रूज, मॉड्रिच, आर्डा गुलर सबके रिकॉर्ड को तोड़ेगा.
I think we've found a gem in terms of ball progression. A center back who can progress the ball well, who can deliver those key passes. Like जैसे वो Busquets वाला एक role भी होता था ना कि जैसे
या
एक line breaking passes. So I think
करेक्ट.
we found a good player in that in Dean Huse.
विच इज अ गुड सेगवे टू एंटर इनटू द डिस्कशन ऑफ डिफेंस, अनलेस कुछ ऐसा है जो तुम मिडफील्ड और अटैक का बात कर के बारे में बात करना चाहते हो.
Uh, I think not really. Just wanted to talk about Franco as well.
हम्म.
Franco, I think few good glimpses we had from him. What I like about him is his confidence. So he's a player who wants the ball, who wants to take on players. So I think some good reactions and good initial feelings about him. I think.
अग्री. फ्रॉम व्हाट आई सॉ, स्पेशली एक क्रॉस आया था एंड देन फ्रैंको रैन इन, एंड अगर वो 2 सेकंड पहले लैंड
Hmm.
करता वहां पे, आई थिंक फर्स्ट हाफ में
Hmm.
था ये, तो इट
Hmm.
वुड हैव
Hmm.
बीन अ ग्रेट
Right.
गोल
Right.
बाय
And you know
attacker
how who
instinct kind of player.
right, and you know who supplied that cross? Arda Gular.
Arda Güler. Yes, correct. What a ball. What a
Hmm.
ball. मतलब
Hmm.
उसके में ना बीच बीच में मुझे पेड्री वाली झलकियां दिखती हैं, ऐसे क्रॉसेस
Hmm.
की,
Hmm.
पासेस की, लाइन ब्रेकिंग पासेस की. सो आई कैन सी दैट
Hmm.
पेड्रिस्क passes coming in, Pedrisk's ball coming in. So
Hmm.
great talent. A
But do
one
you know
pain for us.
who was the man of the match for me?
Who will be?
It was Tchoumeni, and which speaks a lot with the performance that Arda had, with the 2 goals that Mbappe had, with Vinny as well with a goal and an assist. I think Tchoumeni bossed the midfield, and I believe he's going to be the cornerstone, the pillar of this new Xabi system. I think some five tackles and I think 6 recoveries, 93% passing accuracy, great ball distribution. I think completely bossed the midfield, and for me, he was the man of the match. What's your take?
Just by statistics, I will, or just by the fact that Mbappe scored 2 goals, वो थोड़ा skew कर देता है डेटा को, right? I
Hmm.
think you have so many great performance in the midfield and the attack. It skews many things,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Attack maybe only Mbappe compared to Arda Güler versus uh, Tchoumeni. I will pick up Tchoumeni. However, Arda
Hmm.
gave a good cross and played a good match.
Hmm.
But the way this team is organized, I would agree that yeah, Tchoumeni was, I would say, very well
Hmm.
placed to be maybe the top two, top three players, sitting only behind Mbappe. So for me, it would have been Mbappe, क्योंकि
Hmm.
उसके goals भी ऐसे simple goals नहीं थे, especially the first one.
हाँ,
और
Right, right.
मतलब or any day a
Mm.
decent player would have missed that. You, in
Right,
order to
right.
score those goals, you need a player of Mbappe's quality. So
It
he made
wasn't.
it look
It was.
simple.
Mm,
Yeah, he made it look simple. Doesn't mean it was simple. Hence, I
mm,
said Mbappe
And it wasn't just the finish. The way he received the ball, turned, and then shoot it.
carried
Shoot.
it and carried it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Agree,
Mm,
agree, agree. Totally.
mm,
All good things, but which takes me to, maybe let's talk about the negative things.
mm,
Right? Defense, especially 80th minute onwards.
mm,
My take here is, had it been any other decent club or a good club or a top 10 finishing club in
mm,
La Liga itself, right?
mm,
You could very well have drawn this match because there were two great chances. एक वो 81st
right.
मिनट में था, right?
Mm, mm,
I
mm,
don't know क्या कर रहा था डिफेंस, right?
mm,
It was caught completely sleeping. पूरा बीच में पूरा स्पेस खाली था. आई थिंक उनका एक प्लेयर है सीबो और समथिंग, राइट, ओविडो का.
mm,
ही
right.
मिस दैट क्योंकि
Mm.
कोर्टो अभी बस खड़ा था. ही जस्ट सॉ द
हाँ,
बॉल
वो
पास.
तो
वो कुछ रिएक्ट नहीं कर
पोस्ट पे
पाया.
लगी। राइट।
अगर कोई और प्लेयर होता या कोई और अच्छा
हुँ, हुँ,
यहाँ पे एक टीम, कोई भी एक अच्छी टीम होती, राइट,
हुँ,
आई थिंक आई थिंक इट वाज अ गोल. और अगर वो गोल हो जाता, देन फुटबॉल इज नॉट लाइक हमने 3 मार दिए थे, राइट. पूरा
हाँ,
गेम
राइट,
डायनेमिक्स चेंज होगा. 81st मिनट में अगर वो टीम वो
एग्ज़ैक्टली,
गोल मार देती, पूरा टीम गेम डायनेमिक्स चेंज होता. नेक्स्ट, आई
एग्ज़ैक्टली।
वुड हैव स्टॉप्ड देयर, बट नो. एक था, सेम आया था, आई थिंक 87th मिनट और व्हाट, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द टाइम स्टैम्प देयर, बट सेम
हुँ,
मोमेंट आया था. लिटरली सेम मोमेंट आया था. And again, the team was defense was completely switched off. So
हुँ,
had this been any other team, we would be having a very different conversation right now. और तुम probably ये मैच ड्रॉ करके होते, is my take. क्योंकि you
हुँ,
can't say कि हमने 3 मारे थे, अगर उनके 2 golden opportunities थी भी तो क्या हुआ, right?
हुँ,
Because पूरा dynamic चाहिए गेम का चेंज हो जाता.
हुँ। I also have a take on this. So I agree with your point. This match could have been a draw easily, but I want to talk about the reasons of the drop off. So I think post 70th minute वो मेरे को मैच में दिखा था कि the overall intensity of the team had dropped off. मेरे हिसाब से देर कुड बी टू पॉसिबल रीजंस टू दिस. वन इज, एक तो द टीम इज नॉट यूज टू प्रेसिंग एंड दिस इज अ न्यू प्रेसिंग मॉडल. सो आई थिंक द टीम हैज टू गेट यूज टू द प्रेसिंग मॉडल फॉर द होल 90 मिनट्स. वो अभी भी नहीं है, वो दिख रहा था, राइट. सो commitment over the whole match is still missing. Secondly, I think Madrid didn't have friendlies. So a lack of fitness or a lack of practice was evident there.
क्लब
I
वर्ल्ड कप
think
खेले तो
had
थे.
it क्लब वर्ल्ड कप के बाद देयर वाज अ गैप ऑफ 40 डेज, राइट. सो उस टाइम पे प्लेयर्स
हम्म.
वेकेशन पे जाते हैं, राइट, एंड दे कम बैक. उसके बाद देयर वाज अ गैप एंड दे जस्ट हैड वन फ्रेंडली अगेंस्ट अ टीम इन ऑस्ट्रिया. तो वो इतना कंपेटिटिव भी नहीं था, राइट. सो उस सेंस में आई थिंक जो वो एक लैक ऑफ फ्रेंडलीज का जो इफेक्ट था, दैट वाज एविडेंट.
Possible, possible. I think it was an energy thing as well.
हम्म,
At the same time, it was too big a gap to justify just by a drop off.
हम्म,
You will have
हम्म,
to look out for these kinds of
राइट.
defensive, I would say, positioning errors. It looked like that.
हाँ,
जो
बट आई.
rebound आया था और वो तुमने collect नहीं किया, that could be a tiring thing or you were burnt out. But you are exposing that level of gap in the midfield and nobody's coming to cover. I think that's more of a positional problem. जो I'm pretty sure Xavi would have noticed and covered, of course.
Right, right, right.
Great.
I also noticed something interesting as well. So I think
Mm-hmm.
once we were 2-0 up or 1-0 up in the 80th or 75th minute, um, Xabi made a tactical switch. So what he did was he introduced Gonzalo Garcia in place of Arda Güler. And what happened was Mbappe and Gonzalo Garcia were playing in the middle, and there were two wingers. And what was essentially happening was Gonzalo Garcia became the target, and Mbappe was the second striker जो थोड़ा drop off करके खेल रहा है, right, who was dictating the
Hmm.
play. I
Hmm.
think this can be a precedent for the season to follow as well. So I think especially against the teams जो low block में खेलती हैं, in which you need in which you need a target, right? उस sense में I think Gonzalo Garcia can be that player to just pin the defensive line and Mbappe can have that freedom sort of to play with Vinicius, with Ibrahim, with Franco, right, with Arda, right. So I think
Hmm.
this might be some of the ideas that Xabi is trying to implement or ideate on. I think we can see this more often going forward as well.
Agree. I think Zabi ऐसे काम करेगा. Zabi will make sure that he's changing things, he's surprising the opponent, right?
Hmm.
मैच के बीच में उसने टैक्टिक चेंज कर दी, which is well oiled, right? So I am
Hmm.
expecting Zabi to do all this. पहले उसके पास
Hmm.
लेवरक्यूजन थी, तब उसने सब कर दिया था.
Hmm.
तो अब उसके पास मड्रिड है,
Hmm.
तब तो वो क्या ही
Hmm.
करेगा. So yeah, I agree. In fact, good call by Zabi, right? A strong call by Zabi. हैट्रिक वाले एम्बापे को तुमने
Hmm.
बेंच कर दिया. He was on hat trick.
Right.
Any other coach,
Right.
I'm not
Right.
sure ये डिसीजन लेता कि नहीं. And knowing
Hmm.
Mbappe, he would have definitely shown that कि यार it was my hat trick, right? You could have waited. But Zabi is
Hmm.
taking all those bold calls. I think Zabi is
Hmm.
making sure that everyone knows that teams come first and not even
Hmm.
individual players, which was largely the issue last season.
Hmm. So talking about good coaches, we can't really miss Hansi Flick's Barcelona. So again, match day two, a bit entertaining, a bit nervous, full of goals, 3-2 win. What's your take on this?
Everything that you have said, right? Bit entertaining, bit nervous, full of goals. ये पूरा ऐसा लग रहा है ऐसे पुराना सीजन वापस जी रहा हूं मैं, राइट. सो आई थिंक बारसा का जो ये मैच था, राइट, इट वाज अ मैच ऑफ टू हाफ्स. फर्स्ट हाफ वी वर imagine everything worse that could have happened, right? What if
Hmm.
to this Barca सब कुछ against चला जाए, right? That is,
Hmm.
your midfield player De Jong is not there. One of your midfield player is not there. ठीक है, let's
Hmm.
start with that. You bring in Casato, उसका पहला मैच है.
Hmm.
Second, let's say opposition is able to shut down Yamin Yamal, right?
Hmm.
So second thing that you don't expect has happened, right?
Hmm.
Third thing, let's imagine you get a controversial penalty, right?
Hmm.
Even that has happened. So,
Hmm.
and then on top of that, you are not taking your chances. Your attackers are missing clear goals. They are hitting woodwork, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
ये सब हो जाए, then what would be the scenario? This is the scenario, which is the 2-0 that we saw, right?
Hmm.
However, however, I would attribute a lot of this to the defense of Barca. ठीक है, दे आर प्लेइंग हाई लाइन. उस हाई लाइन
Hmm.
में यू आर नॉट प्लेइंग विथ कुंडे हु इज योर राइट बैक. ठीक है, यू आर प्लेइंग विथ एरिक गार्सिया. व्हाई? बिकॉज यू नीड टू कॉम्पेंसेट फॉर द पासिंग केपेबिलिटीज ऑफ अराउहो. ठीक है, अब वो
Hmm.
अराउहो वो लाइन ब्रेकिंग पास नहीं दे सकता तुम्हें निको मार्टिनेज टाइप, राइट.
Hmm. Hmm.
तो
Hmm.
उसे कॉम्पेंसेट करने के लिए यू आर प्लेइंग एरिक गार्सिया. सो इट बिकम्स अ थ्री
Hmm.
मैन डिफेंस, राइट? कुबार्सी,
Hmm. Hmm.
अराउहो और एरिक गार्सिया. एंड अराउहो की सारी पासिंग की कैपेबिलिटीज को फुलफिल करते हैं, लैक को फुलफिल करते हैं कुबार्सी एंड एरिक गार्सिया. नाउ
Hmm.
द चैलेंज इज, अनफॉर्चुनेटली इन दिस टीम, द वेटरन right now is an 18-year-old kid, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we are missing the timing, we are missing the high line level intelligence. एक हाई लाइन खेलने के लिए जो एक इंटेलिजेंस की जरूरत होती है, वो इनिगो मार्टिनेज पे थी, राइट? सो वी
Right.
आर मिसिंग दैट. आराओ इज अ
Hmm.
नो नॉनसेंस डिफेंडर. एक तुम्हें डीप लाइंग डिफेंस खेलना है, हु इज सिटिंग बैक एंड एब्जॉर्बिंग प्रेशर, वन टू वन सिनेरियो करना है, ही इज गुड, आई एग्री. बट अगर
Hmm.
ऐसे मैचेस खेलने हैं जिसमें तुम हाई लाइन जा रहे हो, तुम्हें इंटेलिजेंस चाहिए, then you are
Hmm.
missing on Inigo Martinez, and that was so evident in this match, right? जो शुरू
Hmm.
के दोनों गोल्स पड़े, if you would have seen, दोनों ऐसे ही
Hmm.
पड़े that they were able to beat the high line, right?
Hmm.
Because he's an 18-year-old kid. Kubarsi says you can't expect that he will be able to manage or manage the high line का defense every time. You need
Right.
someone to cover for him. और अभी वो player आ रहा हुआ है who is himself एक mistake prone player, right? So I think
Hmm.
that was exposed pretty well. Add on top of that the fact that attackers were not able to score, not able to take easy
Hmm.
chances. I think
Hmm.
that exposed Barca a lot.
Hmm.
The only good thing in the first half was Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford के touches, Marcus Rashford combining with Balde was so good to watch. वो
Hmm.
width provide कर रहा है लेफ्ट विंग पे, और तब बाल्डे कट कर रहा है, राइट? Whenever
Hmm.
Balde is providing that with, Marcus Rashford अंदर कट कर रहा है, एंड द
Hmm.
डिफेंस कांट ब्रीथ एट ऑल, क्योंकि दोनों ही
Hmm.
प्लेयर्स ऐसे हैं दैट दे विल ड्रिबल पास्ट यू, दे विल टेक अ रन, राइट? सो आई थिंक दैट depth at the left wing that Marcus Rashford provided in the first half, that was the only good thing that I took out of the first half, and was kind of, what I could look for in the future. Apart from that, first
Hmm.
half was disastrous for us.
I have a question for you actually. So you mentioned about the high line, right? Getting exposed. Do you think the high line getting exposed, is it only a function of the players playing that high line, or the opposition also now finding ways to penetrate that high line, right? So what do you think on that?
आई थिंक लालीगा, लाइक मेरा पॉइंट कहना है इसमें कि लालीगा इन जनरल इज अ वेरी इंटेलिजेंट लीग, ठीक है? अभी मैं
Right.
बस लालीगा की बात करता हूँ. आई एम नॉट
Hmm.
गोइंग टू द चैंपियंस लीग लेवल टीम एट ऑल. They will find ways,
Hmm.
but La
Hmm.
Liga is an intelligent league. I've always maintained that, right? So
Hmm.
they will find ways to counter your high line, and I think they have now started doing that. ठीक है?
Hmm.
That problem is exacerbated by Inigo Martinez का absence, is made
Hmm.
more visible by उसका absence, but
Hmm.
team will now start exposing Barca का high line. ठीक है?
Right.
The only thing there is, you expect two goals to be scored against you when you
Hmm.
play a high line. ठीक है?
Hmm.
The best part about it is Barca reacted, right?
Hmm.
So when you play
Hmm.
Highline, you expect कि मेरे पे दो गोल पड़ेंगे, but I will
Right.
respond that with four goals, right? So
Right.
which brings me to second half, that Barca
Hmm.
responded. ठीक है? वो
Right.
हाफ टाइम में दे मेड गुड चेंजेस. रैशफोर्ड को उन्होंने बेंच कर दिया, एंड ऑल्मो, दे गॉट इन ऑल्मो, बिकॉज द नीड ऑफ द आवर वाज गेटिंग इन दोस टाइट स्पेसेस. एक और अटैकर हु कैन फिनिश विद सम एप्लॉम्ब, राइट? थोड़ा और
Hmm.
क्लीनली
Right.
फिनिश करे, वो ऑल्मो में यू गॉट दैट, राइट? सो
Right.
आई
Right.
थिंक that really helped Barca, and then Gavi came in, right? So I think all in all, second half की जो tactic थी, that kind of helped us. At the
Hmm.
same time, I feel that you are lot dependent on a player like Pedri. Like, take a bow,
Hmm.
what a performance. uh, I don't think world football में ऐसे बहुत सारे players अभी हैं who can match his level right now. He literally got us back into the match with this performance, passing, with the out of the box shot that he took, that long range shot.
Hmm.
ऑल इन
Hmm.
ऑल अ क्लास परफॉर्मेंस, मास्टर क्लास परफॉर्मेंस. वो एक बंदा इंजर्ड हो जाए, मैं अभी डिक्लेयर कर दूंगा बारसा का सीजन खत्म, राइट? बारसा देखना बंद कर दो.
वो
राइट?
भी हो जाए
इट्स,
और यमाल भी हो जाए, भगवान जी.
मतलब थोड़ी सी रहम. एक बंदा काफी है, राइट? बट हैविंग सेड दैट, आई थिंक बारसा needs Lewandowski to score.
Hmm.
You, in this season, you can't be okay with Lewandowski not scoring, because अभी वो मेरे को मिस लग रहा है. अभी मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि रफीनिया विल नॉट गिव यू द सीजन ही गेव यू इन द प्रायर ईयर. इट्स वेरी
Hmm.
डिफिकल्ट टू रेप्लिकेट दैट फॉर रफीनिया. ठीक है? इट वाज एक्सेप्शनल. एक सीजन में तुम
Hmm.
मेसी का रिकॉर्ड नहीं तोड़ सकते गोल प्लस असिस्ट में.
Right.
रफीनिया
Right.
डिड दैट, राइट, इन अ सिंगल सीजन. But is Rafinha Messi like type player who can replicate it year on and year on? No. The answer is no. So I think Barca needs Lewandowski to fire, जिससे कि वो set of goals preserved रहे, right?
Hmm.
That Lewandowski gives you two goals or three goals in two matches. You need that three goals if you are playing this high line with a missing Inigo Martinez.
Right. Right.
However, one thing that I think is Barcelona should not play with Araujo. What do you think? If not, then who? I know I have a theory, but as a rival, what do you think if Barcelona is not playing with Araujo, who they should go with?
I think you rightly mentioned intelligence, right? So when you're playing a high line, you need not just defenders who can defend, but also defenders who can read the play, right? So I see that intelligence in Christensen. I think as
Hmm.
a defender, he would be a better fit in the flick high line system. Um, but Arujo, I think, right, like you rightly said, sometimes can be a little less dependable, makes rash decisions. He's more of a defender
Hmm.
that you would want to make the last line tackle, right, just to save the
Correct.
goal, or maybe the last man defending the goal. So I think in that sense, Christensen for me would be that man.
अग्री हाउ आई वुड यूज इट राइट. तो पूरे सिनेरियो में मैं क्या करता, क्रिस्टेंसन एंड कुबारसी वुड बी माई प्लेइंग 11 के प्लेयर्स राइट.
Hmm, hmm,
Where I would use Araujo is, of course, substitutions, and then
hmm,
in matches where I need a man-to-man marking, right? So if you
hmm,
need to
hmm,
mark Vinicius Juniors, you get in Araujo. If you need to
hmm,
mark Mbappe, you get in Araujo. Because इसमें भी कोई doubt नहीं है that he one on one he has been one of the finest defenders. Like Vinicius ने शायद
hmm,
कहा भी था that
hmm.
Araujo has been the toughest defender I
Fair.
have faced, right? So
Hmm,
I think in that kind of matches where you need to shut a particular opponent because he's like indispensable, उसको नहीं face कर पा रहे हो.
hmm,
Players like maybe Mbappe, I'm not sure, right? But वो centrally थोड़ा खेलेगा तो I will not trust Araujo with Mbappe just yet in the central position.
hmm.
But अगर wing पे Vinicius को shut करना है तो maybe Araujo. So I think those
Right.
kinds of matches Araujo could be helpful. All in all, I don't think Araujo is the way to go this season.
Hmm,
Too not dependable a player.
fair point. But I want to take you back to the left wing discussion. So in the first half, you had Rashford on the left wing, but you
Correct.
also at the same time sacrificed Raphinia at the left wing and played him as
Correct.
a cam figure,
Number
right?
10.
So a central
Hmm.
attacking, yeah. So a number 10. Uh, so definitely that's not his natural position. So my
Correct.
question to you is, would you want to sacrifice your best player's maximum potential in order to sort of fit in a player who is trying to get used to the new system of Barcelona? Would you want to do that, or would you consider this as an experimental phase where you're trying everything?
I would want to do that, but I would want to make those sacrifices, but against teams like Levante. ठीक है?
Hmm,
So what I mean by that is teams who are, let's say, 10, 12 and below, not against Athletic Bilbao. Athletic
hmm,
Bilbao के साथ I would want Rafinha on the left and Olmo in number 10 because he will be able to find those spaces, right?
hmm,
At the same time, I will be experimenting with Rashford side में 10 and 12th and beyond team के साथ, right? अगर
hmm,
वो वहां पे मुझे ऐसा कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस दे रहा है जो मुझे इधर रफीना नहीं दे रहा है, देन
hmm,
मैं डिस्टर्ब नहीं करूंगा इसे. मैं ऑल्मो को वही रखूंगा. आई विल गेट इन रैशफोर्ड टू द लेफ्ट विंग एंड विल
hmm,
ask basically Rafinha and Rashford to fight for the place, right?
hmm.
Knowing
Right.
Rafinha, he's a fighter. उसको रहता है कि मैं जान लगा दूंगा, right? तो वो फिर अपना परफॉर्मेंस एलिवेट करेगा. Knowing Rafinha, he
Hmm,
will not be like यार मेरा लेफ्ट विंग गया, मुझे नंबर 10 पे खिलाओ.
hmm.
He is not that kind of
Right.
player. He
Right.
will fight for that position. And if Rafinha and Rashford, both of them, start
Hmm,
fighting for left wing, if I'm
hmm,
getting the luxury कि Olmo और फर्मीन मेरे नंबर 10 के लिए फाइट कर रहे हैं,
hmm,
रैशफोर्ड और रफीना दोनों इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं कि लेफ्ट विंग के लिए फाइट कर रहे हैं, राइट? एंड
hmm,
एन एजिंग लेवेंडोस्की को फरहान टोरेस is giving a fight, right, for the place. Right
hmm,
wing I'm not touching, he is untouchable. Right wing Lamine Yamal, not touching him at all. Then I
hmm,
think this pura setup 4-2-3-1 का is complete for me.
hmm. Fair point. Fair
Which brings
point.
me to Farhan. What do you think about Ferran Torres?
Uh, I think he's overperforming considering his potential. According to me, I
Agree.
think this is the maximum you can get out of Paran. But in a system that excels on Pedri giving those crosses, right? On Yamal giving those beautiful crosses, especially in a setup that most team deploy against Barcelona, which is like a low block. जैसे लास्ट मैच में लेवांटे ने भी किया, राइट? सो उस टाइम पे हुआ क्या, एंड में लेवेंडोस्की आया, यमाल का वो क्रॉस हुआ, ब्यूटीफुल क्रॉस, एंड उसके बाद देयर वाज अ गोल व्हिच वाज द लास्ट गोल. तो आई थिंक आई वुड स्टिल वांट टू स्टार्ट लेवेंडोस्की, चाहे वो 37 ईयर्स हो, 38 ईयर्स हो, ओवर फरहान, एंड आई वुड वांट फरहान टू बी दैट impactful player off the bench. This is my take on this.
Agree. Agree. I think Farhan, for me, the way I see the game, Farhan
Hmm.
is 2 seconds slow than everyone else. ठीक है? वो सारे डिसीजन 2 सेकंड स्लो लेता है. वो भागता भी बॉल पे 2 सेकंड पहले लेट है. वो टच भी 2 सेकंड लेट लेता है. वो शॉट भी 2 सेकंड लेट लेता है. तो फरहान इज अ गुड सब्स्टिट्यूट प्लेयर, राइट? तो
करेक्ट, करेक्ट।
तो होगा क्या कि सारे लोग थक जाएंगे. नाउ एवरी वन विल बी 2 seconds लेट बिकॉज दे आर टायर्ड, राइट?
हुँ, हुँ।
विच मेक्स देन कि फरहान अब सबके इक्वल आ गया. Which is where you see कि फरहान ने कोपा डेल रे में इतने गोल्स मारे थे. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. ठीक है? फरहान came in scored
हुँ,
4 goals. क्यों? क्योंकि फरहान
हुँ,
सब्स्टिट्यूट होके आ रहा है. सब बराबर हो गए.
हुँ,
अब फरहान गोल मारेगा, right?
हुँ,
और
हुँ,
hence you see फरहान is not effective when he starts because
हुँ।
he's 2 seconds अभी पीछे, right? तो तो
हुँ,
तो फरहान for me is that kind of play. He's 2 seconds late. Bring him as a super sub. He will give you
हुँ,
goals.
हुँ। I
That
think
that's
like
that's how I see.
A bit like Asensio for us. So for the most part, I think Asensio was the impactful player off the bench. Whenever he used to start, तब इतना अच्छा नहीं खेलता था. But कभी
Hmm.
भी वो बेंच से आता था जरूर गोल करके जाता था. I think
Hmm. Hmm.
I can draw a parallel there. But
Hmm.
what I want to discuss now is so I think no doubt. Ferran Torres also scored. Pedri also scored a banger, right? Yamal also had a great game in the second half, right? So, but मुझे ऐसा लगता है the reason that you won the last game was not because of players, was majorly because of the mentality shift that I see in Barcelona. I think Barcelona maybe 2 years, 3 years ago, 2-0 down away from home, the heads would have bowed, right? उसके बाद बिल्कुल ही ऐसी मेंटालिटी ऐसी हो जाती है कि कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे, अब क्या होगा, राइट? प्लेयर्स वुड हैव बीन लुकिंग एट ईच अदर कि तुम करो, तुम करो, तुम करो. बट आई थिंक फ्लिक की जो मेंटालिटी है इज ऑल आउट इंटेंसिटी वाला मेंटालिटी, लाइक यू गो एंड फाइट द बैटल. आई थिंक उस सेंस में आई थिंक एक अच्छा मेंटालिटी शिफ्ट आया बार्सिलोना के अंदर कि नो मैटर व्हाट द सिचुएशन वी कैन चेंज इट अराउंड एंड वी कैन टर्न द सिचुएशन अराउंड. आई थिंक व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस?
I think I would end this whole discussion and good time to end the video by saying that it took Barcelona more than 80% possession, more than 25 shots, more than maybe 10 shots on target, and a whole lot of desire and grit to win this match. That's how I will end it.
That's a fair assessment.